Anxiety. Uh, That's that's one that oftentimes a counselor will want to try and treat the symptoms. But the reality is that I want to know, what is that anxiety, because I think it's different for everybody. Maybe it's stress, maybe it's worry, maybe you constantly overthink things in your mind. Maybe it's to the point where it's even kind of like an ADHD, where you can't really focus on things. Maybe it's fear. Maybe it has more to do with trauma. I had one client who had been diagnosed with anxiety disorder forever, and turns out she had PTSD. So being able to find those things then begins to help us get down to the root causes of it rather than just treating the symptom. Social anxiety, well, that's a completely separate one as well. Where do those things come from? And how do they go together? Maybe there's more than one. For example, you may be very stressed about finances. And if I was to take a poll and, ask, if you were in this situation, what would that be like for you? And they'd say, well, on a scale of 10, I'd probably be, at a 4 or 5. Okay. But what if you're at like an 8 or a 9? Well, that's starting to tell me that that stress is going on top of another piece of anxiety for you that has to do with some unresolved emotions for you. Times in your life where maybe you were made to feel stupid. You were maybe severely punished for a decision that you made. You were made to feel like your decision making, your self image wasn't worthwhile, and you never felt that importance or value that goes behind that. Well, that's where those past relationships lie, and that's where that anxiety begins for you. And so, man, then that anxiety just starts spiraling, right? I got to think things out. I got to work this out. I got to make sure that I got this down. Oh, and then that maybe leads to procrastination, and then that starts to spread the amount of stress that you put upon yourself. So each one of those different aspects of anxiety kind of break it down from just a generalization. I mean, sure, I could give you a coping skill, or teach you to meditate, and maybe have you do yoga, listen to music, all those things. But again, that's just treating the symptom. It's not getting to the root cause. Because once we get to that root cause and we really break it down and find where those are for you, well, then those things don't become as important. And you start to find that your stress, which would be completely normal when you're having, say, financial difficulties, you're back to that 4 or 5 where you need to be.